Hey.
Hey. Sorry, I'm stupid and
No, you're not.
No, Jackie, you're good, girl. You're good.
Thanks.
Don't be
Hey guys.
Yeah, a lot of people are dealing with issues. Plus, a big issue is I'm new to hosting on Zoom, and I thought you guys would just jump right in. I didn't realize, like, off to the side on my screen, there's an admin, so you're literally going into a waiting room, and I have to click and let each person in individually.
Oh.
I'm new to Zoom.
Right?
Yeah. So, anyways, let me just introduce everyone. A lot of you guys probably know each other, but not everyone here knows each other. I've met all of you individually at some point over the last year. We have Sean Tabor, we have Dan Green, we have Ashley Shapiro, Miguel Rojas, Jackie Brown, Daniel G. Garza. We have Ethan Howard, and we have Jessica Winter. Welcome, guys.
Hooray.
Yay.
Hooray.
Is it back? Is it back?
It's back. So I know, like, you just jumped in. Make sure.
I know, should I make?
If you have another device and you turn on your YouTube or whatever, just make sure you have the sound off so you're not getting the audio feedback. Basically, guys, I put this together for one main reason. We're all used to being on stage, entertaining, tons of people, and right now I feel that that's kind of lacking. I think people are having to just tune into new Netflix and watch specials. So I'm just trying to give a live stream option to people who like to interact on live streams and whatnot. I have met all of you. I follow you guys on Instagram, on your social media channels, and I find all of you guys very funny in your own way. And I just wanted to...
Everybody.
What's that?
Oh,
Thank you. It's the girls, always the girls.
Oh, boy.
I say guys, that's like leave me alone, dude. But no,
dude, I don't know if it's my head or what, but
it's your head. But anyways, thank you guys for doing this. This is the first one, and if there's any kinks, we'll work them out along the way. But thank you so much for being here. I'd love to kind of go around the room and just find out and let anyone who watches this know your name and where you come from and how you found comedy. And I'm just going to kind of pick you guys out one by one. We'll start with the youngest, Mr. Ethan Howard.
All right. Hey. I'm Ethan. I'm Ethan Howard. I'm what you want? So
Look at the Brady Bunch going crazy.
yeah.
Let's see. I'm 18 years old. I hit my 4-year anniversary in comedy last Tuesday, which is pretty fun.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I found comedy pretty much. My parents got divorced. I needed something to talk about or somewhere to talk about it, and I said, you know what, screw it. Let's try stand up. I like it. I was a fan of it, and now here I am.
You started comedy at 16?
14.
At 14?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. When I was 14, I was going to jail. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was stealing cars at 14.
I've actually seen Ethan. I've seen Ethan live, and he said that on stage in a bit, and I approached him afterwards. I thought he was lying because he's really fucking funny. And like the maturity. Yeah. Thank you. But just the stuff you talk about, it's like you wouldn't. I don't know. I was a dumbass when I was 18, so.
Well, I am too, but
That's interesting.
Wow, congrats, man. That's cool, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, congrats, dude. Being that young and doing this already, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm moving to New York in August to make it happen. So.
Oh yeah, the clubs will be empty when you get there. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Beauty of it is he's young, so after this cycle hits and everything goes down, he's going to be like right out there. Like it's like, hey, it's a whole new world.
He's hoping we all die.
Yeah, we did. But Ethan will be there.
I'll still be there.
Yeah, he's like, nobody remembers their material. Pre-coronavirus, nobody remembers that material. Who's gonna know? Oh, that's awesome, dude. Wow. I was 14. I literally went to jail. Yeah, I was like, I stole my first car at 14. That's great, bro.
Well, what car? What type of car was it?
His first car.
None of this can be, proven, but yeah, first one I ever stole was a Mazda. I stole an RX-7. I still remember that car.
Never forget your first.
Yeah, there's certain things like your first kiss, the first car you steal, you never forget. You know, RX-7. Oh, loved it.
I think I forgot my first kiss.
Yeah, I forgot mine too, but I remember my first car I stole.
Yeah.
It was good.
That's funny. I remember my first blowjob.
That's funny.
Back home.
What'd you steal, Dan?
I stole a horse. That's how fucking old I am.
Stole a horse.
Did you really?
Oh, it's happening again.
Oh my God. I'm so happy to see people. Even though I can't see you.
Funny you said that. Has everyone here stolen something at some point in their life?
Yeah. Yes. Allegedly.
Yeah. Makeup.
I think it depends on who you steal it from. I think if you steal it from the government, it becomes reappropriated at that point, and it's not technically stealing. But from shit people, oh yeah, all the time.
So Miguel, when you were stealing cars, I remember going into a Target and stealing my first wallet.
Oh, really?
But it was a brand new wallet because I wanted a wallet to put in my pocket. So
yeah. Well, everybody's got to start somewhere, you know.
Right. Definitely.
That's almost sad.
Oh my God, my computer's gonna fucking die.
No.
Oh no! Plug it in.
All right.
No.
I have to walk away for a minute and do some drugs, and then come. No, I'm just kidding. I'm having a good plug, but I'll be back.
I love
all right, let's go to the next person. We just asked Ethan. I'm just gonna go around the room the way it looks on my screen. Let's go to Daniel G. Garza. Garza, what's up, buddy? I met you a few months ago. Tell us how you found comedy. A little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Daniel G. Garza from Mexico. Grew up in Texas. I found comedy actually by accident. I do public speaking. I'm a HND educator, and I just wanted to bring jokes into my presentations somehow. And I took a class. They thought I was funny. They invited me back, and then I heard Chris Kidder talk about pee-pee in the mouth jokes, and I said we have to be friends. And I needed a white man to sponsor me so I could stay in the country. So here I am.
Nice.
Nice.
I caught
I feel like
that
this is
story.
I feel like this is an AA meeting. Do we say hi afterward?
I think at AA you start off with your name. You start off with your name. Hi.
I just finished an AA meeting on Zoom before coming on here. So yeah.
Who's an AA?
Show yourself.
I knew you looked familiar.
Are you in Studio City?
The first thing I ever stole
Santa Monica
was drugs. So there you go.
Oh wow.
Wait a minute. You stole something and are an AA? What's happening? What did I miss?
We're talking about what's the first thing you stole. The first thing I ever stole was drugs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like I'm high class. I stole a car. God, you guys make me feel all bougie. Sorry. Feel all
They would have been
bougie.
good drugs. So there.
But you just went big. Okay?
Yeah.
You just went big. I get it.
All right, guys. This Sean, where are you streaming from, buddy? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm streaming.
What is happening to my?
Yo, Miguel, mute for like 5 minutes.
Get it together, Miguel.
Christ. I'm in Venice Beach. I grew up in the Bay Area,
So
just outside of San Francisco. These are my best friends, Claude and Rick. And
Awesome.
I'm here in Venice, and I found comedy. I'm 40 years old. I always thought about doing stand-up. Never really had the courage or guts to do it. Finally did it last year. Actually took a comedy class, which is where I met Chris Kidder, who's my first and still only friend in comedy, Chris. And yeah, I think it's going pretty good for me, though. I just moved into my new place, and it's a little one better.
so good.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, Sean and I have been rolling around town doing shows together. Stuff. Awesome.
Whose comedy class did you guys do?
Greg Dean in
nice.
Santa Monica. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Very cool.
How about you, Ashley? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you find comedy?
What's up? How did I find comedy? I don't know. I feel like I've always been immersed in comedy, but then I actually touched the stage after I had a baby. It just brings out the comedy in you, you push out this thing, and then next thing you know, everything's funny. You're like, you're delirious. So anyway, I was delirious, and I had a lot of stuff to share. And what I do? Actually, I took a class with what is his name? No, he's the homie.
You don't have to make it up. Don't have to make it up.
Wait a minute. Where?
No, at
Yeah.
West Side Comedy Theater. And gosh, I forgot. Like Dave. I'm trying to look it up. Well, anyway, I'll remember later. Anyway, and then from there, I just started going to
the corona. You can't remember everything.
Yeah. Honestly, the fact that I'm here. Yeah, I found my tribe, So, Jackie was like, I've heard this story before, bitch, I'm done. I'm just
Wait, because I left?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Ashley. I know her.
I didn't want to interrupt. I don't know what you can see. Poncho was chewing on something, and I didn't want you guys to hear it.
Yeah, and I guess I should share that I stole something like no, okay, you stole something. I feel like you planned it, right? I didn't plan stealing anything. I remember.
Sorry.
I know. I admire that because I went on a trip somewhere for school, and we stopped by the mall because there was so many kids to get food at the food court. I think we were going to Disneyland or something. I don't know. And while we were in there, mind you, we had like the cash, but we just started stuffing the bag with clothes. Like it was like a hive. Like we just kept putting stuff. It was ridiculous because I had stuff that wasn't even my size. Like it was just like I don't know what was going on. And I remember it was. I don't even know what store it was. And then I donated a lot of it to people on the bus. So
you're like, so you're Robin Hood.
Yeah,
you
yes.
You donated it. Okay, yeah. That's good.
That's cool.
So
steal from the we don't know store, but give to everybody on the bus.
Yeah, but was it because it wasn't your size, or?
You don't like it? Yeah.
You're like, I don't know why I took this.
She's like, girl, you want this? You have it. That's yours.
This is not my color. This is not my color.
This is all you, boo. Take it.
Purple is not my color, and that had to go.
So how long have you guys been doing comedy? I'm curious.
What?
How long have you guys been doing comedy? I'm curious. Because I knew you guys were talking about it, but my phone was going.
That's enough with the intros. Let's go to the Q&A.
I'm curious.
I feel like you should be saying, okay, Chris. That was right afterwards. Just shift it to Chris.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Just tell us, we're still doing intros, Miguel. We'll get there. So let's go to Dan Green. Dan Green, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found comedy, bro.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
Yeah, how did I do that? I have an Australian accent.
Yeah,
It's a little bit different. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah. I came out to America in 2001 to play professional rugby in Texas. Hung around in Texas till 8 months ago. Wait. But yeah,
There's a professional rugby team?
well, semi-pro. I was paid in pretty much beer and pussy.
Yeah.
Didn't take much.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
But I decided to make
rugby team.
Well, there you go. You're not very good at American. But everything else, I got stuck out here. I ended up coming out here 8 months ago to try my hand at comedy. I worked at the front door of nightclubs for about 16 years, so it's kind of like doing crowd work every night, except you're just eviscerating people and not trying to be funny.
The occasional
jump. The occasional whap. I mean, I've got a head for radio. I've managed to walk into a few right hands in my life. I wasn't very good at ducking, so yeah, you get that. But now I work the front door at the Laugh Factory. Well, I did until I got laid off 2 weeks ago, and hopefully I'll be one of the first people hired and back up. But I love comedy. I can't get enough of it. And I met Kidder a while back, and Sean Tabor, and a few other people in the room here. And I think it's a fantastic community here in LA, and that's why I stayed out here while all this shit went down. So it's not very funny, but there you go. That's where I come from.
But I mean, it makes sense that, doing rugby, you said you got paid beer and pussy. It's essentially comedy as well, right? Because we don't make anything, so it seems like an easy transition.
There were 3 very amazing cars that somebody probably stole to give to us. I don't know. I think it was probably before your time, mate. You wouldn't have stolen these ones. But I had a pretty good 1989 Ford Escort Brown. That was my car when I first came out here. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, I wouldn't have stole that.
No.
No Ford Escort.
What we didn't realize is we filled the back full of beer cans because we didn't realize that open container meant empty open containers as well, not just full ones. We were under the impression it was full ones.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
We got pulled over with about 200 cans of empty beer cans in the back of the car. You get in trouble.
What if you're just really into recycling?
Nice.
Well, you just say you're Australian. What do you say?
Jackie.
Hey, listen, that's why I'm turning the credit out of a traffic ticket. So, yeah, I'll turn to Steve Irwin just to get out of a traffic ticket.
How about you, Jackie? How did you get into all of this? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Jackie. I started my background's in acting and TV hosting, and then I always wanted to try comedy, and then I dated a stand-up comic, and eventually started writing for him, and thought I could do it myself, and then I basically Mrs. Maisel, like, he ended up cheating on me. And so like I ended up, which I'm okay now, but ended up doing comedy myself, and then now I've been in LA doing it for like a year and a half now, and yeah.
Nice.
Pretty much that's it. What do I do with my hands?
What was that? Was that Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby?
For someone who does stand-up, I hate talking about myself. I get so fucking awkward. I'm like, leave the conversation. Also, side note, I'm on my phone, so I can't see everybody. So is there like a screen where everyone can see everybody right now?
Yes. Yes, there is, Jackie. So just, I think in the top right of your screen, you can click. There's different picture modes, and you can hit the grid.
Looks like this.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Participants, maybe? Oh, wait,
Wow, that's amazing. How did you help me?
Oh my God.
It's got a green screen, right?
Yeah.
I had like 4 weeks to myself. It's been pretty magical.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on my phone, I can see everybody.
I don't think you can on your phone. I don't think it does the grid view.
That's all right.
No,
You can just pull me up, and that'll probably be good.
Yeah, just put up
Perfect.
Sean. How about you, Jessica? I met Jessica just only like maybe 6 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I thought you were hilarious and just a fun person, great energy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you found comedy, or how comedy found you.
Hi guys, I'm Jessica. I'm a mom. I'm a housewife. I'm a fucking mess. And I started comedy a little over 3 years ago. I had a nervous breakdown, and so stupid, but that's really the case. And a friend of mine who is a very big comedian, I ran into him and I was like, yeah, I need to get back into acting, because that's what I did eons ago before I decided to give up all my dreams. And so that's true. And so he was like, oh, hey, let me introduce you to my agent. And then I was like, oh my God, I just had the thought, like I can't. So he said, why don't you take a class to get back into acting? And he said, why don't you take a comedy class, because it'll help you get back into auditioning. And meanwhile, my nervous breakdown, I lost a lot of memory. It was amazing. I'm almost back. I'm almost back. I mean, I'm still insane, but like my memory's better. Oh, don't mind that. That's the police. Okay. Coming to get me. So, anyways, I started comedy. I took a class. I know. I took a class. I liked it. I didn't totally suck, which I thought I would. And not to say I was good, but it's your first show. I don't know. Did anybody have like a great show their first show?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm old as fuck, first of all, so I deserved it. Okay, like, I don't know if I've had a great show since then, but hey, it was a great show. And anyways, it worked out, and then I just started getting up and doing comedy and busting my ass, and now I bust my ass like I'm an 18-year-old. So that's kind of how I roll. Yeah.
Nice.
Ethan knows what you're talking about there.
Say it again.
Ethan knows what you're talking about.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it is, but it's all right. Like I love it.
It's the best. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and I don't mind. There's a difference. Like there's some of you are younger. I don't know how old everyone is, but like I'm almost 50. So for me, I don't give a fuck. Like I get up there and I'm like, oh, that sucked tonight. Well, I gotta work on that shit. Like I just move on. Like I just, am I not allowed to curse?
No, that was Dan was showing his age in his hand, so I said 21.
Show me, Dan. Show me.
43.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. This is special. Okay. Is that what we're doing now? Anyways, I'll shut up now. I like talking about myself. I'll just shut up. I'm so happy to talk to people.
How about you, Miguel?
I've been doing it for 9 years, and I actually got dared into it. And first time I ever did it, I went to a comedy club to go support some guy. I was right. Me and my buddy went on our motorcycles, and I said, "Is the dude funny?" And my boy said, "No, he sucks, but we're gonna support him." And I was like, "Okay, why are we going?" And he's like, "Oh, we're going to support." And I was like, "But if he's not funny, why are we going?" You know? So I went. And I was hanging out, I was chilling, and you know, like some comics like to do crowd work. Well, at the time, I didn't know what crowd work was, and this guy tried to pick on me, and
is that your dog? Sorry, Miguel. Is that your dog?
That was the dog, so you can always bet on him.
That was her husband.
I'm in the garage. This is my studio. And
That's canine coming after you.
and the dogs, it's their studio too, clearly. Okay, sorry. Go
for
on.
it, Miguel.
anyways, I got dared into it. Like, the guy tried to do crowd work on me, and I kind of just, said something funny back, being a smart ass. And after the show, the guy approached me. He was like, "Hey man, you ever thought about doing comedy?" And my boy was like, "Oh, dude, this guy would be great at it." So for about, I would say roughly about maybe 5 months, I argued with him every day about getting up. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be a comedian. I didn't want to do it. But my friend Mondo believed in me more than anybody. And we used to work together. So every day for 5 months, we would be in the truck together for 8 hours. And you'd be like, "Are you going to get up? Or you fucking big tough guy, you stole cars, you ride a Harley, all full of tattoos, but you can't get up and do comedy. Oh, you're a little bitch." And then I'd be like, "Nah, fuck you." And I ended up chasing him around the truck for a while because I'd be mad. "Don't call me no fucking names." And I was, big tough guy. And eventually I just said, "Okay, fuck it." Just to get him off my ass, I eventually went and I wrote like a minute worth of comedy. It's like first time you get up, you do like you think is like really good, but you suck really bad. And some guy, Dave Nunez, was there. I don't know if you guys know who Dave Nunez is. And he saw me and he was like, "Hey man, you got a lot of potential. I think you could do this. You got good stage presence." And he's like, "I could teach you how to write a joke." And that was the start of it. And then that led into acting and it led into everything else that I've been doing since. So yeah, I'm coming up on 9 years. I started 2 days after they killed Osama bin Laden. So that's my birthday anniversary.
Nice.
That's cool. Right.
Yeah. Not exciting, but but that's the way it went. That's how it went. So and it's been cool though. Like I've been able to get a commercial agent, a theatrical agent. We led all to that. So I'm very grateful to comedy.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
And then it's a stupid story, but it's the one that I did.
It's not stupid.
To that one.
I put my hands in front of my face. As long as you don't do that.
Yeah, it's all been over a dare. So my boy Mondo, I thank him all the time because I've been able to be in a movie. I've been able to do TV. I was in, I've been able to. I became a SAG actor. It only took me 6 months to become a SAG actor.
Damn.
So, all these things that I've ventured. I've been on tour. I've been on a billboard. I've been able to do these things, and all of them I always go back and I always tell Mondo, like, thank you. Without you, I'd probably be in prison or I'd be, doing what I was doing before that. He was the first guy that believed in me, and then a guy named Dave Nunez was the second guy that believed in me. So I owe those dudes because they looked at me and, tattooed, Harley Davidson riding guy. They said, "Oh no, you're funny. You can be funny. You can do this." And then it led to the life that I have now. So that's
if it's anything like Sean's, good for you.
my little story.
He needs the backdrop, Sean. He needs the backdrop.
Yeah, I'm in my bedroom right now, chilling. Me and my cat, one of them. He keeps running around.
Like I said, it only took you 6 months to get SAG. Like just threw that in there. Just like
I know, right?
Yeah, it was. You know what? Honestly, it was no. Yeah, honestly, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but it was really funny how it happened. No, I'm being honest. It was really funny because I did comedy for about 5 years, and then or 5 or 6, and then I said, my manager said, "Hey, listen, I got a manager," and he was like, "You should do movies. You should do TVs." So he got me a commercial agent. So I started with the commercial agent, and then we were hanging out. And you guys remember Fear of the Walking Dead? It was filmed in LA.
Mm-hmm.
It was filmed in my neighborhood. It was filmed in El Sereno, and I was like, "How are they going to film in El Sereno? And they're not going to have any tattooed ex-gang members on that TV show?" And we laughed about it. And next thing I said, "Hey man, like, how do I get on a TV show like that?" He goes, "Oh, well, you need an agent." And I was like, "Well, don't I have an agent?" I was so naive to it. He's like, "No, you need a theatrical agent. You got a commercial agent." I was like, "Well, how do we get a theatrical agent?" And then he was like, "Okay, let me take care of it." 2 days later, he called me and he was like, "Hey, I got you a theatrical agent.
Damn.
I'll sign the papers for you. Don't worry." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." Yeah, because I don't sign anything, so I'm not gonna have.
Somebody
said
said
it's not mine. So I was like, okay. And,
See, if that happened for me, people would think I sucked somebody's dick.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I probably would. That's the way.
But that's, I'm not saying that to be shitty. I'm just being.
No, that's realistic.
That's awesome.
You just like sucking
That's
dick.
true. Listen, I had to get naked. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I didn't have to suck anybody's dick for that.
I wouldn't have mind. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
No, so I just asked, and then I got a theatrical agent, and I didn't know I had never taken an acting class. And some of the roles that I've done, they're not that hard to like act. You know, I went for my first theatrical role was for a TV show, and it needed a bad guy. It needed a guy full of tattoos. It was a biker, apocalypto world.
Who had stolen an RX-7.
Yeah.
We need him.
Yeah.
Steal the fucking car. That's the guy.
Yeah, I walked in and I read the lines they gave me, and I was like, oh, this is easy. I know this guy. Like my uncle's this guy. You know, like I know these people. You know, like apocalypto, gun toting.
That's funny.
You know, shut the fuck up type guy. You know, so I was like, oh, I know this dude. I've been around this guy my whole life. So I read, and then the first time I ever went for an audition, I read, and then the director was like, oh, can you do one more? And I was like, okay, and I did another scene, and then that led to like 5 more scenes. And by the fifth act out, I was kind of like, well, TV show, what are we doing here? I have to go. I had no idea. I was so naive to it. No, I got a call and like, oh, hey, you got the part. And I was like hungover because I just did the Ice House that night. I left the audition, did the Ice House. The next day, I had a meeting with my manager, and he was like, "Hey, dude, I got the part." And I was like, "What part?" I forgot I even auditioned for it. I was like, "What am I?" Like, "Oh, the TV show." And I was like, "Oh, yay!" You know, that's the parts that I do are very easy.
Sorry, one second.
I don't have to be an actor.
1 second, Miguel. 1 second. Is he cutting out for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Miguel, your internet's like really acting up, dude. You're kind of breaking up.
Oh, dude. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Miguel.
Just the parts that I do are very easy. They're just gangster cholo parts. It's not very hard. It doesn't have to be like a real actor to do them. You know?
Me too, by the way. Those are the roles I go out for.
Me too. Me too. Dude, Jackie and I are killing it in the gangster fucking.
It's just typecast, you know?
It's all it is.
Gangster.
Jessica, that's why I came to LA, because cholo gangsters need an Australian influence. That's what we do need.
Right.
So, you're like,
I agree.
You know, to be honest, you know what the problem is with other people is you're blonde, you got blue eyes, you're hot, you're sexy, you work out 10 times a day. There's a million people that walk in that door that look like that.
I was at a before shit hit the fan. I was at Whole Foods, and I was trying to pick out kombucha, which sounds really fucking white of me.
Yeah, girl.
And I'm looking over, and there's literally 5 of me. Like that we could all be each other.
Really?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it. God damn it.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah.
But you know what the difference is, Jackie? And I will tell you, it's when you open your mouth. That is the difference.
You would think, you would hope.
I hope so.
You hope.
Let me tell you, I've been talking to your ex-boyfriend, but I'm just saying. I have a feeling about you, Jackie.
Are we still talking about blowjobs?
Hey, no, or we just suck really good dick.
That's what I'm saying. It's about the opening of the mouth. But you're very smart and you're super witty. So yeah, you may look like somebody else. And the minute you open your mouth, you know right away, and that's the ticket. That's
so sweet.
That's gonna set. Oh my God, I'm listening to you. You're like, damn. I can't wait to get my show back up and running so I can get you all on it.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
I'm like, oh, I love this.
I wanted to compliment something you said earlier too. I'm sorry I'm taking a tangent, but like I really admire like that you said you just don't care, and that's something that I've been trying to work on because I think I care too much sometimes. But like I really admire that you just have that like attitude because that's such a good spot to be in.
Let me
It's really cool.
rephrase it really quickly. I do care.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
shoot my face up. I have fake fucking hair. Like I mean, I'm freaking out right now that I have grays and I'm having my lady bring product. Like okay, and I do work out like crazy. You're right. But here's the difference. I run in the streets of Ventura. I don't just I'm in the middle, like fucking cars hit me. I'm a little more aggressive. I do care. And I do, and it does, sometimes it bothers me, but the difference is, I don't know, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Here's something, and by the way, I'm not knocking, I just was speaking to a young comedian friend of mine today who's 26. And I said, he goes, I don't know what to post. Because I'm posting, if you look at my, I'm posting ridiculous dancing shit, okay? Like off the wall, I'm too old, whatever, who cares? I don't even care, I love it, and I love dancing. And I said, well, he goes, well, and he's a very smart comedian, and he writes super tight jokes. And he goes, well, he was telling me a joke, and I said, oh my God, just get on and like shoot out the joke. And he goes, yeah, I don't want to, because it's not ready yet. And I was like, bitch, we're in crisis. Like, I actually think it's funny whether it's ready or not. He goes, but I don't want to put a joke that's not really tight out there. And I said, you're so worried that you're going to look stupid, that you're going to not put it out there, and yet you're not going to put anything out there. You look stupid. We all look stupid. There are times, you never get, like, you're never not going to look stupid. I'm telling you, even when you think you look great, I look amazing. I walked into the improv and I fell in 6-inch heels, just slid down there in the back.
Wait, on big stage?
No, in the back. By the way, sober. But like everybody saw it while there's a comedian on stage, and I'm sliding in the back. I had a huge fur coat. I looked like a 70s fucking video, and here I looked amazing, and now I'm on the floor. On the back. Shut up! Like you're always gonna look stupid, and you're always gonna say stupid shit, and it's okay because no one really remembers unless you're really huge and you tweet it, and then they come back 10 years later and they're like, "Bitch, you said that." But besides that, I think people have forgotten how to take risks.
Yeah, and I hope that didn't sound like I thought you didn't care about those things.
No. I just wanted to preface that I do care.
It's like a balance between like not being afraid to fail, I think is what it sounds like, and like try stuff. Because I think my biggest lessons have been in failing and like fucking bombing and trying to figure out how to not kill myself.
But I'm a mom and I've had 2 kids and I had a nervous breakdown. So I pretty much failed.
I just turned 49.
What happened, Daniel?
I just.
There's two Daniels. Daniel?
One at a time.
Daniel G. Garza. Go.
I was going to say, I just turned 49. I'll be 50 this year.
You look good.
Thank you. I drink the blood of young children. But
it's his taco diet.
I get that.
Just for breakfast, not for dinner. It would be ridiculous. But there is a level. When I turned 49, I was like, I have to stop being so concerned about looking dumb because I'm going to do it anyway. So just go for it. And my boyfriend is usually the one that tells me, "You're thinking too much. You're thinking too much." Because then I go on stage, and if I just don't think, just
it's amazing
shit.
It's amazing
shit comes out. Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny. Just stop thinking.
Have kids as well. I think it kind of like have to a little early, like because after someone like sticks their hand in your vagina and just really exposed and You haven't slept, you need help, you don't know if you'll heal. Honestly, you really don't care. And I think on the other hand, if you're a guy and you've seen that happen to your mate or whatever, then you're in the same boat. And so you get there quicker, kind of like just not caring, about making mistakes. Because to be quite honest, like for me, the only time I learned is if something bombs, if something doesn't go, if someone, if I go into a room and I'm not well received, those are the moments really to work through stuff, you know what I'm saying, and find other topics or, switch up. Like
right in between where you're like, fuck, this isn't working.
Yeah, like I see a lot of comics do the exact same set over and over again, which is great. I mean, hey, if it works, I mean, everyone's different.
Right.
But I think one of the skills that I think you start learning, depending on the room you're in, is how to like, hey, move some things around because you see that the room is a villain in that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it is what it is, and I don't know. That's been a good step in stone.
I think once you escape the fact that open mics aren't there to validate your comedy, they're just there to make sure you get the timing right. You'll be much
Thank God.
because otherwise if you find yourself chasing that validation at an open mic, and you're like, these fucking people aren't gonna laugh at anything anyway. But as long as you know you've got it right, that's the main thing, and just not having, and you're right, not having that fear of failure is the way to do it. If you've got to fail first to get rid of that fear. And that's the way to go.
And you always have a little bit of it, don't you think, Dan? Like, always have a little bit of like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no, I've fucked up enough in my life. I've got no fear at all about fucking up anymore. I've fucked up 3 lives over.
I think it's because you're Australian. I actually just think it's because you're Australian. Okay.
It's the advice I got when I was in the army. I was about to get my ass kicked in the army for doing something stupid. And this lieutenant just walked out of the colonel's office and he just got fucking destroyed. And he looked at me and said, Dan, they're getting ready to fuck you up in there. He said, but just think of one thing. Just think, no matter how much they yell at me, they can't take away your birthday and they can't make you pregnant. And I used that for the rest of my life after that. I'm like, you know what? This is going to suck. They can't take away my birthday and they can't make me pregnant.
That is the greatest advice I've ever heard.
That works for men. That works for men. They can make us pregnant. And I would have a retarded baby at this point. I have a couple of retarded kids already. Oh, I can't say
I'll probably do somewhere.
They're just special.
Oh, by the way, I got one more thing. I took my glasses off. I have 2 lazy eyes.
I have one.
If for some reason I'm looking fucking all over the place, it's not because I'm not paying attention to you. It's just because I'm tired and my eye just went bloop over here. Now it does mean that my peripheral vision is fucking spot on. But if you want to get into a staring contest with me, it's going to be like staring with a Muppet because the shit's just all over the fucking place. Anyway.
How'd they let you in the army? Lick your eye.
No. At that point, the left one was seeing straight. It was the right one that
you
was
had
all
one
over
good
the place.
eye.
They used he was the radar.
What they used to tell me was they said one eye doesn't give a shit and the other eye can't see for shit. And that's pretty much what I was stuck with. So yeah, but thankfully the good one was fucking good.
There's a joke there, by the way.
Probably, but I can't.
There
see
is. You know.
Hey.
Hey. I like it.
Hey.
Hey guys, a big win. I told you there'd be some kinks tonight with the hands and with the sound. So I had people in the live chat saying that there were some echo issues while you guys were all talking. I fixed it. So they're all like, yay, it's fixed.
Oh, fuck those
Hey.
people.
Oh, yay.
What's the live chat saying?
So there's people in live chat watching this, and they're all saying, "Yeah, da-da-da-da."
They also
Are they saying
suck.
anything else?
They need new comics.
Oh yeah.
Yes. They're not
They-
funny. Get them
Thanks
off.
for watching.
Yeah, just real quick, we have Jonathan Zv. Shout out to Ethan
Hey,
Howard.
that's my guy. What's up,
Yeah,
Johnny?
He says you're his boy.
He got
And,
into Berkeley today.
Yay!
Congrats,
Hey.
dude.
I love that city.
Yeah.
I know you. It's driving me nuts, but I know you.
Don't let anybody in there.
And and he said Was it? Oh, Adam Rubin said Ethan has the best hair, and then Jonathan said that yeah, it's not that hard when everyone else is balding.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
No, I
those are my
did.
guys.
One of the
I
first
apologize
guys.
for them.
It's all good, dude. No, one of the first guys. He did jump on and say that he had a question for the entire group. Best and worst crowd moments.
Ooh.
Anybody want to go?
I can take. I'll go first.
Go for it. It's probably his friend who's
So-
probably set it up.
My worst. I can tell you my worst happened a few months ago. I was playing the Comedy Union, and the crowd was not into me. And
Oh, that's a nice club.
What?
I love that club, Comedy Union.
Yeah,
I
so
know,
it was
me
my
too.
first time there. I wasn't doing too well, and I ended up. There was one person there. I said a joke, and they booed me, and I'd never been booed before.
Oh God.
Hey, what did you say?
I have this.
Yes.
I do some voices. I do some impressions, and I have this bit about Barack Obama, and
At the Comedy Union.
and I was doing that. Yeah, so I was doing. It's not a bad bit too.
I've seen it.
And-
It's good.
And
It's
I knew going in that because I've played a room similar to the vibe there, and it did really well, and
Vibe.
it just
Yeah, vibe.
tanked.
Scared to
just-
say black room. Is that
Yeah.
what you're afraid to say?
It just.
You're afraid to say
I don't
black
want to
room?
get canceled, you know. No, the
You
joke.
just say black room. It's
The black
it's
room.
A
I
black
don't know.
room.
Yeah.
It's a
I
black
have
room.
my
Yeah.
no.
He doesn't want to get canceled.
Yeah, I have my SNL audition this year. I don't want to get Shane Gillis.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Jesus
So they
Christ.
booed me, and I didn't know how to react, and I just I froze, and for the next minute and a half of my set, I just couldn't say anything. I had no clue what to do. So that was going back to
That's a
what
great.
Ashley was
That's
saying.
a great experience for you.
Yeah, it's all about figuring out how to adjust, and then I ended up I did some crowd work with that person, ended up flipping it, and for the next 6 minutes, I ended up doing well. So it was one of those moments that you're just like, well, that just happened, so now I got to figure out what to do.
Did
on
you
the
call
fly.
yourself out
What? Yeah.
immediately?
Mhm.
Yes.
Immediately, you make yourself human.
Yeah.
But
So,
okay,
that was my
Question.
worst.
Question. Before you go into a room, you know the room you're going into, right? Did anyone do the J spot? Anybody
No.
do the J spot before?
I haven't done it yet. I almost.
Okay.
It got canceled on her this month. Okay.
The J spot used to be a really cool spot. J. Anthony Brown, Mr. J. Anthony Brown. It's a really good club. But you have to know the clubs you're going to go into before you go into them. You have to know the crowd. I mean, don't you guys sit in the back of the club and watch what's going on and say,
I know the
okay,
room.
so
I knew the room. Yeah.
No. What I mean is, do you guys go prepared with 3 sets? Do you go to a room with 3 sets and go okay, so these jokes are hitting, the family jokes aren't hitting, so I'm not going to do my family stuff, or the dick jokes are hitting, so God, now I'm going to be forced to do a dick joke, or oh, you know what, they're real conservative, so I'm going to do this stuff. Do you go prepared, or do you go in with 1, 2, 3? This is what I'm doing, and it doesn't matter because all I have is 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm asking.
It goes both ways. So, for instance, I did the Ice House a few weeks ago, and that set, I went in using knowing I'm taping it to send to JFL. So I taped that knowing my set. But when I did the Union and I'll do other rooms, I'll go in with I know I want to do a few jokes that work, but I'm also testing out material, and that's one of those. Yeah. So I'm all for that night, for instance, I was working material out. And the material wasn't hitting as well as I would have liked, and I got
Your
into
first night at Comedy Union, you were working it out.
Yeah. So
Okay. By the way, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to tell you I did a Comedy Union a month ago. It was maybe a month ago, and and I fought to get in there. I sent my tape in. I was hitting everybody up, and she's like, you have 5 minutes. And I've been there, I've seen the show. So I was like, oh, I felt like I had 8, and they put me up first, which I don't mind because I host a lot of shows and I actually love going up in the front. I don't mind going up anywhere, but whatever. And it's funny because I planned for 8, which is fine. And I got up and I kind of did I was like, I'm gonna do this. So when she said you have 5, I was like, all right. So I was like, I'm gonna do this. Well, first thing I got up, I just started talking shit because I was like, all right, here we go. And I don't even know what was coming out of my mouth, but like it was working. And I was like, here we go. And then I rolled into my set, which was funny. And my set wasn't hitting as well as and they are jokes, but like I was kind of going off. And then she runs it. Next thing you know, I'm like, I know 5 minutes is up. And I'm like, fuck it. They gave me 8 minutes. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking stab everybody. But it was fine because I was prepared. And it's interesting because I was freaking out because somebody goes, what the fuck? We worked on this whole set. And I'm like, I don't know. I just looked at the people and just started doing it.
Yeah,
So,
totally. I get that.
I was like, I don't know. It's funny. It's funny how you went in with your new shit, but I also unintentionally did new shit.
Yes,
So,
it just happens, you know. If you're in the moment and feeling out the room and you want to have fun, you know, go for it.
No. No,
you're very tight on your set.
No, you prepare, you write out your jokes, you know what you're gonna do. You have 3 sets, and then you pick and choose from your 3 sets. Because if you go up and this first time you're in the club and you don't make a good impression, it might be your last time in the club.
That's true.
And I don't have tits, I don't have a nice ass, and I'm not like, nobody wants to fuck me. So they're not gonna bring me back. So when I go, I know he does.
Wanted to fuck me.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I think she's happy, but like maybe.
Well, no. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just saying, as a comic that where I'm at, I'm a Latino. I'm not very sexy. So yeah, when I go in, I have to make people laugh. I can't.
It's funny because like I feel like the stereotypes.
I have to hit a home run. I have to go in and hit the ball over the fence because they're not going to bring me back if I don't smash.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
What's that?
That applies for us too, because I feel like people already are like, oh, you're too pretty to be funny. Like, and they expect you to suck. Yes. And so everybody has a bad set, right? Like I bomb just like everybody else, but I have anxiety about bombing if it's the first time they're seeing me, because then they're going to be like, see, she's not funny.
Yes.
And there's also that. So it's like, there's pros and cons to whatever character you are in comedy. Right. And so I think like, it can also be like, a nail in the coffin too.
No, totally.
I just want to say this. I think it works either way. You can, if you're really pretty and you go in, people don't expect you to be funny. With me, I have to be, because I look the way I look, and that's why I work on my character. I work on my set. I work on my jokes. I work on writing. I work on doing what I do because I know the way I look. When I walk in, people look at me and they're like, "The fuck is this guy lost?" Or you're like, "What are you doing here?"
By the way, it's the same for us.
Yeah.
I get up there and women fucking hate me, and guys, and if a woman is with a man and the woman's like, "Oh my God, I hate her." Right. Immediately it shuts down. It's funny, I'm just writing a whole new thing about it because I'm like, I got to address this. Like and I think it's weird because I know how fucked up I am as a human being, but like, I'm like, wow, it happens. They hate, like, and then once 2 minutes in, they're like, oh yeah, she's flawed, we're okay.
It's funny because whenever I go to a new club or if I walk up by myself somewhere, they'll be like, oh, who are you here to see? And I'm like, no, I'm on the show.
Same, by the way, same.
It's like, I'm on the show. But
that's funny.
Yeah, all the time. Or if I'm with a guy, if I'm near any male comic, they assume we're dating. It's just like, that's the way it is.
Well, I'll tell you this because of experience. I was doing a show for Fox, and I went to the Fox studio, and I was the actor. Went to the lot, and they wouldn't let me on. The guy was like, what is your name? No, I'm not. He's like, is your name on the list? And I was like, it should be. And he goes, oh, who are you with? The Grips? Oh, hold on. What's your name?
Yes. You do look like a grip, though.
That's what I do. That's what I do, bro.
bro, and I was laughing. He goes, "Can I have your name?" And I'm like, "Miguel Rojas." And he goes, "Let me look." And he looked at the grip, and he goes, "Oh, well, I don't see you there." And he flips it. And he goes, "Are you with the lighting, or who are you with?" And I was like, "With the actors. I'm an actor." And then it was, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Oh, please." And it's not like I'm gonna get the dude in trouble. I'm gonna be like, "Well, I'm an actor. You were supposed to be nice." No, nothing like that. I was just like, "No, dude, it's cool. I know what I look like." So I think if you know what you look like, just advice that I've done over the years is you have to play against it. You have to address it because it's the elephant in the room. So if
Yeah.
anyone's ever seen my set, I mean, don't go look up old stuff. God, I'm so embarrassed of my old stuff. But my new
I'm
stuff
gonna look
is,
it up.
yeah,
Looking it
go
up
ahead.
right now. Hold on.
Go for it. You have to address the elephant in the room. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. If you're the pretty chick, address it. If you're like me, I'm the big dude with the tattoos that look scary. I have to address it. I have to acknowledge it right away, because if not, it happens. You get this stereotype, and you get this kind of thing that follows you. So you have to be able to address it. If I go out on stage and my first joke is a dick joke, people look at me and they go, "Yeah, that's what I expected from him."
Mhm.
So my
I find
first
that,
joke
like,
has to be a kid joke. So it's the reverse of what they would expect from me.
Yes.
So
yeah, and that's funny you say that. Go ahead, Ashley.
I was just gonna say, side note, Sean, I love your background. Like, honestly, I needed that.
Got you.
what is
Aw.
his
I love
background?
those waves. Thank you. Okay.
Hey,
sorry.
I went fancy tonight and got a hotel room. I should have done this from the fucking car, but it's too dark. Unfortunately, I live in my fucking car. It's fancy day today.
Don't worry, Dan. I got a hotel room too. I'm at the Best Western.
This is
That's
fancy.
true.
You did?
No, it's my bedroom.
Look at him. We don't
I
believe
did
it.
not let him.
So gullible. Okay, you didn't finish we got your worst. What's your best?
Oh, me?
Yes, I'm sorry, Ethan. I cut you off. I'm an asshole.
No,
Just
it's all good. Don't. Let's see. My best. I mean, I did a set out in. I did my first ever like headlining set, I guess, was out in Chicago at the Laugh Factory out there. I did it was the first 30-minute set I did, and it was just like joke after joke, thing after thing. Everything was hitting. It was fun. People were coming up, taking photos of me afterwards. It was like one of those moments where, and it was a show, and I was doing it, and Lil Rel Howery dropped in, and it was just like, it was one of those nights that just everything was going well, and that's probably one of my best sets I've had.
Are you from Chicago?
I'm from here, born and raised.
What led to the gig out there?
I was part of a contest that Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live runs.
Oh, 360, right?
Nice,
What?
dude.
Yeah. So I won it 3 years ago. They brought me out to do stuff out in Chicago and New York with them, and yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That's cool.
That's
So Ethan,
cool.
Really cool.
Ethan,
Yeah.
would you rather be covered in fur or be covered in scales?
Would I rather be covered in fur or scales? I mean, probably fur, because if it's cold, it warms you up.
Look, guys, I'm gonna just start like interrupting. We could chat all night. I wanna ask you guys, like, yes, this is a great question. Best moment, worst moment. So feel free to do that, and then I'm gonna ask you a would you rather question at the end of it. So let's go with you, Daniel G. Garza.
Worst moment. I was hired to do a show for rehabs. They were doing benefit for rehabs, and I thought I was going to kill it because I went to rehab, and I bombed. Nobody laughed at my rehab jokes. It was horrible. But most of them didn't want to be there, and some of them were in detox.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say,
Oh, man.
I'm gonna blame it on that, and not that I wasn't funny. But when they weren't laughing, I froze, and I had like 20 minutes, and I only did like 10, and I ran off stage like a little pussy. And then and then my best moment, I'm gonna be not because he's here, but Chris and I have played off each other, not with each other. Wink, wink. A couple of times. And the last time we were together at the Ice House, he went on before me, and the first time we did it, he played off of my jokes, and then the second time I played off of his jokes, and it was just amazing. That night the crowd was just into it, and I got off, and I felt like energized. And my boyfriend, who's my worst critic, had no notes for me when I got off, so he actually hugged me and pretended that he knew me. So that was kind of cool.
Good thing.
That was my best one. And somebody earlier said about the very, very first show. My very first show, I worked on it really. I've only been on, November was a year. I've only been doing comedy for over a year, a little over a year. And so I feel honored to even be in this group. But my very first one, I really worked on it and made the jokes really tight, and people got him. And being Latino too, I play a lot to the gay jokes and stereotypes and stuff. And but my first joke was I'm a cancer survivor and anal cancer, and one of my first jokes was about going to the colorectal doctor and getting probed, and I do the fingers a lot on stage, and people thought that was really hilarious. So that's my thing. But I've had a couple of really good moments, but I rip a lot. I'm a smart ass, so I just like to play off people and make fun of people. So that's me.
Would you rather be in jail for a year, or would you rather lose a year of your life?
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, when I went to rehab, that was what's on the table. It was a year in jail or 3 months in rehab, and so this is really funny. If you're in my head, that's really funny. Would I rather lose a year or go to jail for a year? I've almost died 5 times in my life. So yeah, so I feel like I owe some years to God. So I would rather lose the year because I don't want to go to jail. I want to see what other kind of trouble I can get into.
Nice. All right, let's go with you, Sean. Best and worst moment.
I'd say my most challenging moment was last August. I've been doing comedy for about 4 or 5 months, and I got booked on a free show in Venice Beach. And my humor, it was and still is quite childish. And they were all just sitting there in their lawn chairs with their like arms crossed, drinking wine coolers, and just hated me. It was just groan after groan after groan. And then I did one joke at the end, and it was bad decisions. And I got off stage, and I kind of went around back, and this lady came up to me. She's like, "Hey, I just caught your set." I'm like, "Oh, sweet." She's like, "I didn't like it."
Direct.
I was like, "Thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it." Then she just kind of looked at me like it was my turn to talk. I'm like, I got nothing left. And yeah, she's doing good though. We've been living together for about 3 months now. My best moment was I'd say my first show. I think April will be a year in April. Family was there, friends were there, Kidder was there. I think you don't really know until you get up there, like whether or not you're gonna completely just lose it and just be a total mess. And it went well. I had a good time. It was probably one of my best shows I've had still to date, and kind of set the bar a little high because I think my next like 13 shows kind of sucked, but it was great. It was my first show. I think was my favorite there. So
nice.
Do you guys ever find like when you have, I don't know, like a bad show and then no one's laughing, but then at the end people come up to you and they're like, "I really liked you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I think
"What?"
they're lying.
I laughed a little
Totally, they're
You were
lying.
so great. You were so great.
you're really good.
I know.
I love
I
it.
think the best is when they're like, "You are courageous."
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Wow.
A lot of guts to
You're
get up there.
so
and do that.
brave. Yeah.
You are so brave.
Good
And I'm
for
like,
you.
what did you not like? Was it the fact that I was a slut when I was a teenager? Like, what made you uncomfortable? Like,
But I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
People a lot though, because it's like you're like, "Oh man, oh," and then someone like comes up to you and reminds you like that they actually dig you, because if you can't get everybody, at least you got one person,
Yeah.
and that person like will just like build you up. All of a sudden, I think I'm in like a counseling meeting, and they think I'm about to kill myself or something. I'm like, "Thank you," but I love that. I wish more people came up to you after the shows, because I don't think they realize how much it. Like, I don't know.
What goes into it?
Yeah.
yeah.
I avoid everybody after shows because I fear that they're going to be like, "Yeah, I didn't like it." Wasn't for me.
that lady gave you PTSD.
I traveled.
He's dating her.
Oh my
Friends with
god.
benefits.
Well, as long as they don't seek you out, they're like, hey, Sean, and they're trying to make their way through the crowd, and they come tell you it sucks. You don't want that. Hey, so Sean, real quick, Sean, would you rather, right, have edible spaghetti hair that grew back every night, or always sweat maple syrup?
Ooh.
Weird ass
wow.
That's a good one.
Did your son write that for you?
No, because I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube.
Wow, that's a really. I've been thinking about that a lot recently.
Not that.
I didn't get syrup at the store for my rations, and I've been eating waffles without syrup. So I'm gonna go with sweat and syrup because that would have come in super handy.
I have syrup. Where do you live? I'll send you some.
Venice Beach.
I got a lot for some reason.
Maple syrup porter. I never would have guessed.
It's funny.
How about you, Ashley? Since you started chatting there with on the end of Sean, so best worst moment on stage.
Oh yeah, okay. There's so many. But one that stands out, I was doing a show like in the boonies, like in the sticks, which isn't like an uncommon thing, but it was just like a lot of maybe I'll say like 55 to maybe 70 group. And they were a little bit more conservative than I had projected because the night before it was like a different crowd. And so I really tried everything. I switched in between. I had things lined up, but they had just decided, like at one point, a table in front of me was like, we're not laughing. Like we're not, I don't know what. I was like, are you here for a funeral? Like, why is everyone so sad? Like, and normally people, no, I mean, and then there was like a group up front who was like a saving grace, but they were laughing because they were humans and they were alive and had a pulse. But yeah, it was like a big room. I bombed. I felt horrible. And then when I went back and I listened to it, actually it wasn't that bad. There were laughs. I think it was just that it was such a big room. I wasn't feeling the energy the way that I normally did. And I think that's the case a lot of times, is you think it's much worse than it is. I mean, it was still bad, but the degree was digestible. And then I had some people come up to me, and I think that's something that I always try to take with me, is that you never know who's in the audience. So even if your set was bad, how you kind of like come through, how you finish, could still get you booked on another show, could be another opportunity maybe for an agent or whatever, or somebody just really becomes a Patreon for you. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of comics forget that. And so I really try to remember that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Were you going to say something?
No, I have allergies, so I keep clearing my throat. I'm sorry. Not the Rona.
And her mic's right there too. So.
Oh, is it doing it a lot? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Let me think. I think
maybe I'll do this.
A few, but one was like my birthday. I had a show at the Comedy Store on my birthday, or my birthday week or something like that. And it was just great. It was a great crowd. I went off just because the audience was interacting and they were talking, which I'm okay with. I went to church with Black people, so I'm used to them interacting, but this is a very interactive crowd. And sometimes I think when in the past where I end up doing the crowd work because it was initiated not by me but by them, I stayed in it instead of forcing myself to make that awkward transition back on. But I was able to easily transition into some of my own preset jokes or whatever, and it was just good. It felt good. Yeah, I felt like I was just talking like I'm talking now, and I think that sometimes to me is a big indicator that's a good show, is like when I'm just being me.
How long you been doing comedy?
I don't even know, maybe like 2.5 years.
Yeah, and how long have you I don't know why I'm going blank. Is it Mark? No, is it? Yeah, right in the middle.
Who's Sean?
My actor, but say something, LA.
What's
Oh,
up?
Miguel.
Oh, Miguel. Okay, God, I was like, I know it's an M. I'm retarded.
No, it's all good. Mark, Miguel,
Okay.
it's all the same.
Miguel. If I start busting out with this, but sorry, you can like be like, okay, bitch, that's it. You've been doing
No.
comedy for 9 years, right?
9. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, I think, I mean, when you were doing it 3 years, like you said, in the beginning, you were kind of fumbling around, right? When did
Very
you
much so.
like
Yeah.
walk into your set and was like, all right, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to prepare. This is how it's going to be.
It took a while because
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot. I used to get high a lot. I used to be fucked up all the time. So I didn't really care. I did, but I didn't. So I thought you had to get drunk or you had to be high before you went on because it made you funnier. And I thought it made me more creative. So I had a real weird up and down with it. And then the curse was I was kind of good in the beginning. I was kind of like good. And
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
well, the curse is that I got lazy and I stopped writing and I just started relying on things that I had done that were old that people might had heard before. And then I fell into this weird thing where I was drinking and I was getting high a lot. And a comedian came up to me and we were at the Ice House and he said, hey man, why don't you try doing this sober? Do you think it feels good when you're drunk? You think it feels good when
you're cutting out.
You should
You're
try
doing
it sober. Yeah, it's changing for me. Doing it.
We've lost you.
Did I lose you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, who else drinks when they get up?
Got to pay the internet bill. I don't drink until after the show.
Is anyone sober?
Right here.
Currently,
Yes.
or
Brandon, are you
18.
sober?
Because legally I have to.
Oh.
Okay, but let's be honest.
No, but I mean,
No,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
sober.
I mean, I work at a bar.
This is root beer.
Yeah,
Okay, me
one
too.
of us is. I'm not sober.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be after this fucking virus though.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry about that, guys.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Great. Miguel, are you sober now?
Yeah, very much. I don't. I mean, I'll have like a beer, but I don't. I don't really go at it like I used to. I don't drink. I don't party like I used to. I'll have like maybe a beer. But if you see a beer in my hand, it's probably the same beer that I've had since I got to the club. Yeah, and I'll try to share it with people. I'm like, you want some?
What about you, Dan?
Me?
Yeah, do you drink before you go out?
Not so much anymore. I stopped getting drunk. I still drink. I like to have a drink, but I don't get drunk anymore.
Before you get
Before
up?
you get up.
Before I get up?
Yeah, on stage.
Oh,
I mean, not in the morning. Christ, get your fucking. What are we talking about?
Oh my god!
Before you get it up, do you drink?
I used to, but I don't anymore. But no, I can't perform on stage either high or drunk. I've tried just to see what it looked like, and it's not good. My accent is fucking borderline incomprehensible to start with. So if you combine that with liquor, I talk quicker. The only people that understand are Australians, and Americans have no fucking chance. And it just turns into this long run of shit because when Australians get drunk, we talk quicker. We remove all punctuation and we cut the ends and fronts of everything. So that's the problem. I just can't do it. I've tried. And when I do, as for weed, no way. I can't fucking perform on that. I'm horrible.
What about you, Jackie?
All the other shit's bad as well.
I'm too much of a control freak. I can't drink anything, or I don't smoke anyway, but like I can't. I'll have a drink afterward, but
Hey, now, ladies, having said that though, I could write on this shit like it's crazy. I love writing drunk. That's fine.
Okay.
I can see that.
What about you, Kidder?
I love drinking.
Do you drink before you get up?
No, absolutely not. Look,
in the morning.
No, this is like
before you get it up.
So comedy is like the 20.
Are we gonna
comedy
get kicked off?
comedy is like the 25th career choice, right? That I've gone through. And for me, like I feel like the alcohol is going to impair my ability to get up and read the audience, be able to
Yeah.
function correctly, and quite honestly, it affects my memory. So I've done a lot of public speaking before I got into stand up, and just doing it, treating it like a job, which that's what it is. If this is a career choice, we don't go, you don't go drink before you go work. Where I can't think of something, but whatever. You go work at the office. You're not supposed to drink, and I just treat it like a job. But as soon as I'm done, when I get off stage, I'll go have a beer. But I don't get loaded because, as Ashley said earlier, like you never know who you're going to meet when you get off the stage and people approach you. And I don't want to be loaded and not be able to, book a gig.
Because it's your job, right? You want to be
Exactly.
professional. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My house is a car. I can't get loaded or I'll get the DUI and lose my house.
Oh. At least for the weekend.
Anyone else want to chime in? I'm just curious. You're sober. You're sober.
Jess,
Right?
you didn't want to hear my. Would you rather?
For me?
Yeah, I was going to do a would you rather, and just kind of like
right.
jumped in and started asking
I'm
about
sorry. Go ahead.
the drinking. No, that's
I was
just
just curious. I was just curious.
no. I'm
You
like
can shut me up.
no. It's like I'm like
Bite,
maybe she doesn't
bite.
like it.
I like it. I'm just.
Right.
I feel like I'm in between, like.
I'm a dick. I'm a dick. I'm saying it.
Would you rather do a would you rather?
You're getting the light. You're getting the light.
We all just got the light.
Yeah. No, Ashley, I was going to ask you, would you rather fart loudly during a serious meeting, or would you rather burp after every kiss?
Oh wow. Probably burp after every kiss because I'm already married, so.
That's messed up.
Ain't going nowhere. And I could just call it like what is it like when people have that like weird ticks, so I'm like, oh, it's just my tick, and you think it's adorable.
Was that if you got ticks, it's a Tourette's? You get
Yeah, so it would
ticks.
just be a mild dosage of Tourette's. That's fine. Don't you get like assistance, some sort of disability? I'll take any sort of help I can get. Okay. So.
Awesome. How about you, Jessica? What about your best and worst moments on stage?
I just get up and I'm fucking amazing every time. It's so hard. It's like, where do you pick? I mean, what do you do?
This thing is
Lexington?
messing up on me.
Where's he going? What the fuck?
Fix his internet.
Lock your cars.
I'm just
He's going to steal a
By the way,
Mazda.
hi to my aunt watching live. Hi.
Oh yeah, whatever. Fuck it. I have a lot of bad moments. I feel like almost every time I'm up, there's some fucked up moment. And I find like every time, I don't know. I'm really believe it or not, as much as I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's very rare that I walk off and I'm like, you'll never hear me say I killed it. You're never going to hear me say, oh yeah. I'll walk off. I listen to my set. I'll go, oh, that worked. That didn't work. Okay, let me change this. Let me flip this. Oh, I like this. I don't like this. I mean, I pretty much listen to my set within an hour of me going up, unless I get fucked up afterwards. So I'm pretty critical. And even if I think like, oh, that was good, when I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God, you're an idiot. What are you thinking? So I'm pretty tough on myself. And even though I know you've seen me, so I look like I'm all carefree and like, fuck it. And then I get home and I'm like, So I don't really think, I don't know. Like I had a set at the Ha Ha and I couldn't transition into, which is funny. I was like, I don't know why I got stuck. I had these people come to see me and they hadn't seen me and their parents at my kid's school. And so I was doing all my kid shit and no one else really liked it except for them. and I could hear them laughing. So I kind of did the set for them because I was like, fuck you, my friends came and I haven't seen them in a couple years. And I didn't, and when I got off, I was so pissed that I didn't transition right into my drug shit. And I was like, God, why didn't you fucking do that? Because you played for two. So I don't think I've ever had like a fantastic show. I mean, I'm sure somebody else would disagree. I've done a few 30 minutes and stuff like that, but I'm a critic. I'm tough on myself. And I don't ever think that like I'm constantly working. I write every single day.
That's awesome.
And I make sure I'm writing every day. It doesn't mean it's good. But you know, I don't know. Like I feel I'm always like, you suck. It's just that goes on in my head. You can get better. You can get better.
You know, sorry, can I just say something really quickly before we go to the next person? Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
You know, we're saying like, you know, what's the worst set? And like one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was, you know, before he died, the late great Brody Stevens told me, he goes, there's no such thing as a bad set, because it's if you think it's a bad set, you need to flip it and say it's a set you're going to learn from. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's where like the mindset is for these guys that you see, like, you know, Rogan and D'Elia and Kreischer and Segura and these guys who are getting up 4 times a night killing it. It's like they're not bad sets. They're sets that you got to take and you say, all right, well, why didn't they like me? Why didn't it work?
Why didn't it work?
Flip it. Instead of saying, you know, it was a bad set, you say, well, you know, I'm going to learn from this set.
And that's pretty much what I do. Like, I'm always like, where am I going here? What do I shift? What do I change? How does this work?
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like, I just feel like I constantly, it's just my thing. I'm like, oh,
well, that too, to clarify, the person who was asking was the best and worst moment. So not necessarily an entire set. And I do agree with you, Ethan. I mean, you have to look at, I think any comedian who's really taking this serious is going to look at a bad set and go, okay, how can I learn from this, and start breaking it down. You know, Miguel said earlier about like, you know, putting all this time into, you know, figuring out, okay, where is this not the best and what can I do to improve it? I think that's really important. Not, you know, but like having a bad moment, I think, you know, a lot of people might have bad moments. But we could change it around and say, okay, what's your best moment and best moment you can learn from?
Can I share one of my worst moments?
In a second, Miguel, I got to ask her, would you rather?
Oh.
I want to ask you this one, Jessica. Would you rather give up bathing for a month or give up the internet for a month?
The internet.
Nice.
That was quick.
Yeah, no thought at all. That's perfect.
I don't really, clearly I needed help with social media. I'm like, what am I doing? I could walk away from social media and actually be fine. I find, I could.
Have you ever walked away from it before? Like, just kind of like said, you know what, I'm taking a break.
I just got into it.
Oh, really? I'm
like, yes, I come from a criminal background. Not just you, baby.
Bam.
My shit's not cars, it's drugs, but whatever. So I don't want to get you kicked off of this whole thing. But so I didn't get on the internet for a really long time because I was super paranoid that the government was going to go get me.
I agree.
How about you, Miguel? Best and worst moment, or sorry, best and best moment to learn from.
Well, my best was, I was I don't know, a few years in, and I got asked to do a show and to perform for the troops before they got deployed to Afghanistan. So I was like, okay, cool, you know. And there was all these army people, and there was all these kids there. I didn't know what was like. I just thought, oh, I'm going to perform for the troops, you know. And right before I go up, they had me be the headliner. So my feature's on stage, and this guy walks over and he's like, hey man, the show's going great. And I was like, yeah.
Losing him.
The guy goes, hey Miguel,
losing you.
Cool. Oh.
God dang.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Nothing I can do about that. I suck.
You don't suck.
I suck too.
Internet
I'm
connection.
sorry.
Daniel sucks.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got
No.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Got you now.
Oh,
Come on,
we
in or
weren't
out,
sharing.
Kat.
Sorry.
So, long story short, I'm about to go up, and the guy tells me, he goes, he's like, "Hey, don't do any jokes about war." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then he says, "Oh, these guys are going to be deployed to Afghanistan tomorrow." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "Yeah, they don't know. They're getting called up. So we had a big dinner for them, and we did a comedy show, and then they're going to get called up." And I was like,
Oh, they know from the dinner, mate. Trust me.
yeah, I was like, I was like, well, that's a great way to fuck me up. Like, you know what I mean? So the whole time I'm doing the set, I'm looking at these poor kids and I'm thinking, fuck, man, some of these dudes are going to get like blown away. They're not going to be able to, like, they're not going to make it back. Now I have a responsibility. I have to be funny. Like, fuck. So up there, I'm trying to do my set, but I was in my head.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a weird thing for me, you know? And though I think one of the worst ever, I was doing a show in Long Beach, and there was this guy at the end of the bar. He kept screaming and cussing. He was saying all this weird shit. And I was like, how come somebody doesn't tell this dude to shut the fuck up? And the guy goes, oh, no. When you get on stage, don't tell that guy anything. And I was like, why? And they're like, he owns the club. I was like, fuck. And he was yelling at the comics, you suck! Get off!
Oh my God, that's
Nobody likes
hilarious.
Where was this?
that. Like,
Long Beach. Somewhere in Long Beach. Where?
it was a club in Long Beach.
What's it called?
Oh my God, it was a little bar.
Okay.
It was like
Because we're going there. We're on
something like that. Like,
all three.
it was on Anaheim. It was on Anaheim in Long Beach. It was so bad. It was like the worst. And I thought it was all cool, you know. I had did like Ice House 2 nights ago, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do my Ice House stuff. And yeah, that guy, he was horrible. He just kept yelling at the comics, you suck, get off. And he was all drunk at the end of the bar, and then you find out later he owns it. I'm like, okay, welcome to comedy. You know, last night I was at the Ice House. Tonight I'm getting yelled at by the owner of a bar. So, you know, whatever.
Miguel, when your internet connection slows down, you sound like Stephen Hawking. It's fucking amazing.
Oh,
Not ready.
well, I look like him too, so that helps, you know.
Oh,
so
shit.
I'm going to get on stage.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Wait, can you guys do impressions? Does anyone do impressions?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah, Ethan
I
does.
got a couple.
Hear some? Can we get some or any accents? I'm working on like this German accent.
I've been developing Ryan Reynolds a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. Yeah, I've been. I have a audition for a show in August that they need me to do impressions for. So I've been learning Ryan Reynolds a little bit right now, which is a fun one. You know,
SNL.
yeah.
Let's hear it.
He'll come out. He'll go. Hello there, everybody. It's me. It's Ryan Reynolds. How are you? So that's a few days
Pretty
into
good.
development. So
Pretty darn
we'll
good.
see where that goes. I can do Dr. Phil a little bit. I can do Bill Clinton a little bit. So it's a work.
Let's hear him.
So I mean, with Bill Clinton, it's right here. He's doing a lot of this stuff. He's going, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That's Bill. Let's see who Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's up here. He goes, welcome back to Dr. Phil. Today we're gonna have two
That's a good one.
people on the show. We're doing this. So
Your Obama one.
That's good, dude. Obama's
yeah,
solid.
and then all the people here need to know that I'm Barack Obama. I was president of the United States.
Now I know why you got booed at Comedy Union. I'm just playing.
I got a pretty solid Liam Neeson, I think.
Are you
Okay.
Neeson?
Go for it.
I do a Liam Neeson. He's a man with a very particular set of skills.
Well, that's good.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to be all back in this thing. He's a man with a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But I will find you. This is why I don't do comedy when you're pissed drunk, folks. I'll tell you right now. Because that accent's a lot better when I've got my shit together.
Oh, really? That's
That sounded really good, dude.
I can't hear it either because these fucking earphones. But yeah. No, he's yeah. I found that out 3 o'clock in the morning. We're like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But if you're looking for Daniel, he's not here. But it's a bit of a growl and everything like that. It's that Northern Irish shit. You Americans, you always do your Irish accents like fucking Mary Poppins. It's always like fucking.
Oh, another shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah, fuck off with that shit.
Irish Spring.
I refuse to do an American accent just in case it sticks. I'll tell you, it's really fucked up. I actually helped a
Don't
buddy.
be a fucking hater.
I actually helped a buddy. I helped a buddy do a read yesterday, and he was reading for a redneck in To Kill a Mockingbird, and he had his script taped to my chest while he was reading and getting filmed at the same time. And then we took a photo afterwards, and then I realized what was written on my chest, and I'm like, oh, this photo is not going to anybody. There are words on my chest right now I do not need on Instagram. This doesn't look really fucking bad. I thought it was funny, and I was like, don't do that. Don't post that. But yeah, no, yeah, accents are hard when you've got an Australian accent. But I mean, Chris Hemsworth's my idol on that because he doesn't do accents. He just does the same fucking Thor accent in everything he's in. And he doesn't give a shit.
Dude, he's hot. That's how it works here.
Well, see, I'm not. So I'm just going to have to go with the, like, as I went and saw an acting guy a couple of weeks ago, and he told me that I look like the guy that James Bond kicks the fuck out of before he gets to the last guy. So
you're the warm up. You're the warm up.
Warm up.
Hater internet.
Yeah, I'm the guy who has the big gun, but not the really fucking big gun. So yeah, that's the guy.
It's not the size of the gun; it's the bang.
That's true.
Maybe I should work on my rushing or my.
That is true.
I disagree. I'm a size queen.
You are?
Sorry. Yep.
Okay.
Owning it.
I don't know. I've had it all. I don't know.
All I can say is, ladies, height, weight, proportional.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some really tall guys with little wangs.
Yes.
I thought that was our little secret.
Huh?
I thought that was between us, Jackie.
It's true. What is that?
Bad luck?
Don't be fooled by the size of the shoe.
Horrible
Yeah, but
genetics.
they're not. I slept with a tall guy once. I'm not married.
Like next to him?
I slept with a tall guy.
Hey.
I missed it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not drinking anything but water either.
Oh, this is easier when you take one of these out. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but he.
I will say
Go.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you please don't. Yeah.
I will say that I've only slept with, I don't know why, but I've only slept with one person with a small penis, and it was just awful. So my sample size is lacking. So I really feel like I should back up because that was an unfair judgment on my part, and I want to apologize.
Did you date small penis?
You're just going to go out and find more dudes with small peckers and see if you can get it right down and see if you can figure
Truly,
out
it's
how it
for
works.
science.
I
It's
have
for
a little
science.
dick. I have a little dick. I mean, I don't have a little dick.
I feel like you.
I doubt it.
I called him little dick.
I think that's going to be an easy line when you walk in the bar, ladies, and just go, who in here has a little dick? I'm taking you home right now.
Jessica, you might have a little dick, but I bet you have big balls.
Hey.
Hey.
I think I'm red, and I don't even actually get embarrassed, but whatever. I might be embarrassed.
And I know my way about balls.
She has a 6-inch clip.
Little dick is difficult.
The little dick.
That's it. I mean, there's nothing more.
I'm waiting for more. Give it to me.
You're just like,
Would you
Story
rather?
of my life.
You have to be like, let's just stop, okay, and go our separate ways.
I have to tell you, little dick had magic hands.
That's the name of my first album.
Little dick magic hands. That's why I'm not against it. Listen, if you don't have you better know how to work the rest of it.
It just grew on you.
I live with 3 lesbians for 2 years. Trust me, you've got to multitask.
Right. You know what I'm talking about. Shit is real. That shit is real.
Chris is over here like, we need to do a would you rather. So Ethan, are you ready for your would you rather?
I think we
Magic
should
hands or look on joking.
Yeah, look.
Wow, dude.
We're all waiting for him to chime in.
I know. I got so like sucked into this conversation. I was just waiting. I was waiting for like the penis joke, to come out of the screen. Yeah. Oh, where were we?
So this went sideways quick.
I know, dude.
I always go
But
down.
that was fun. I liked hearing those impressions.
Oh yeah, give
It
us
went
your German
sideways quicker than my
accent.
fucking eyes.
Yeah, German accent.
Oh, okay. It's Oh, Ashley, I just want for you to come over here and sit down next to me. I'm working through it. I'm working, but and yes, in that, so I'm working through it.
I can
going.
say, as a Jew, I'm afraid. I'm like, I'm scared.
Oh.
Good.
You got to do it one more time.
Ethan, I want you to know that I am coming to your house.
Okay.
You sound like a mixture of like German and I'm the captain now.
Wait, he wasn't German?
News to me.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. We're gonna have to have the end of this German thing. Yeah.
I'm working through it.
So why are you trying to do a German accent? What's it for?
No, it's for nothing. I've always do accents
nothing.
with people, and so one of my good friends recently has become a good friend, and so I always poke fun of everyone that I love, and so I get their voices, and she happens to be German. So, and then I like to use it in like characters or whatever. So I also do like Nigerian, just like I like to have them.
Yes, it's a good skill.
Yeah, I think
great
there's something wrong with like my hearing. Like, so for me, I've tried impressions all my life. They've always sucked. And when I hear my voice like in my ears, in my head, and then I hear myself on screen, you know what I mean? When I see myself, my voice sounds really weird to me. It's been like that. I'm 41. It's been like that my whole life. And so I think that has something to do with my inability to do impressions.
totally.
I'm blown
That's why
away
you
with
gotta-
people who can do it.
I mean,
That's
I
why you
hate.
got to record. I think you got to record everything, mate. Give yourself the confidence to really go for it. And if you know you're halfway there, then you go right. I can go right at this, and that confidence is probably what's missing at the end of it to really push something like that over the edge.
Yeah, maybe I try like 10
I have
times.
no
and
frame
that's
of
it.
reference. I have no frame of reference. I shouldn't even be in this fucking room. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hate doing impressions on stage because but like when I was 4 years old, I started watching stand-up. I started watching Dana Carvey. So that was like, it was kind of like if I wasn't doing impressions from like when I was 4 years old, I was doing Johnny Carson. I was doing Church Lady. I was doing, what's his face? Garth. So it's like, I was kind of put into that as my first experience of comedy.
I'm sorry if I'm moving. My phone's gonna die, so I'm like trying to plug it into a wall.
All let me see is
I know, I'm sorry.
Don't be, it's funny.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, just ignore me for a second.
Hey, on a side note, how are you guys all doing?
Yep, wanted to ask that how you guys are doing. So yeah.
No,
it's good. We're just all chatting, so I'm glad you asked. So yeah.
I had a shower today. I'm pretty happy.
Right.
I feel like I'm happy most of the time, and then a day will come where I just like there's just this sadness, like I'm gonna call her Brenda, and like Brenda's in the room, and I'm like, get out, and she like wants to come hug me, and I try to like like I don't know, just like open the windows and go outside and stuff, but I'm not saying it's like I've been trained because like since a child, like we always were in our own rooms and stuff, like all the time, very awkwardly. But so it's like I've been quarantined for a while, but this is like a lot, and I think also just like not getting on stage. It's different talking to people on the phone, right, than in person. I'm getting really creative with my meals.
I have a question. Have you guys, or Ashley, have any of you guys experienced just random people that you haven't talked to in a long time on the phone? Like just you get a phone call and they're just like, I had a buddy call me the other day and he's just like, what's up, buddy? And I was like, hey man, what's going on? He goes, I just want to see how you're doing. And I'm just like, the fuck?
I think it's really revealing. Are you a phone call like quarantine day 15 friend, or are you a quarantine day
Well,
2 friend? Like your hierarchy.
It's funny you should bring all this up because I went through a 7-year depression, and I used to get out. The way I used to validate this was that if you're in a good place in life, it's all about your incoming calls, and if you're not in a good place, it's all about your outgoing calls. Because when you're doing well, you don't call other people call you to see how you're doing. Unfortunately, that's the way society is right now. But if you get calls from people you haven't seen out in the blue, 9 times out of 10 that guy's not doing great. You just need someone to fucking talk to. And I went through that road for a very long time, and I didn't realize until I looked at my phone one day and realized there's 1 incoming call and like 14 outs that I'm just trying to find people to fucking talk to. Yeah, it's a way to bring the room down, Dan. Nice job bringing the room down there. So I'm gonna go back to my box now and have another fucking drink.
You're saying if someone's calling us, we need to pay attention.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Particularly if you haven't heard from them in a while, that's somebody who has ran out of people to fucking talk to, and now has got down to your fucking scraggly ass in the bottom of their phone they haven't spoke to in fucking 2 years.
Okay, like, I'm happy you clarified, because honestly, the first time it went over my head, but wow, that's deep.
No, I got it.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Is basically if look at your phone. If you've got a bunch of incoming calls, then life is good. I guarantee it. If you've got a bunch of outgoing,
I don't have a bunch of incoming calls.
Well, then I'm sorry.
It's totally fine with me, Dan. Actually,
okay.
I don't really want to talk. You know why? Because
I'm comfortable in my own. I'm comfortable by myself right now.
People are communicating also on Instagram a lot. Like, all these people we're communicating now on social media more. Like, everyone's liking and we're chatting through it.
But being in this current global climate, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just had I'm starting to get people I haven't physically talked to on the phone. They're just bored. They have to be bored out of their minds at home. They got their kids running around, and you're just like, the hell am I going to do today? Let me pick up the phone, and they start calling people. And that's what I've been experiencing, is people calling me who haven't physically called me. And then when they have no purpose besides of, hey, what's up?
That's cool though. I think it's a great.
No, it's cool. No, it's cool. And I'm totally. I was just seeing if anyone else has been experiencing just like.
Well, it was good. I was gonna give you a call tomorrow, but you can go fuck yourself now. So that's okay. I don't need to
This is somewhat interesting. I have a podcast, and I've had it for about 8 years, and there are guests that I've had over the last 8 years that I had not talked to since I interviewed them, that are reaching out now just for no reason. And then on the other side, I'm kind of agoraphobic. I've been diagnosed with agoraphobia. So I panic a lot before I leave the house. So the last several days, not having to leave the house, I find myself less stressed. I sleep better because I don't have that on my head that I have to go. I've been on Zoom for like 6 hours today on meetings, but I've been more attentive at meetings because I don't have to leave my house. But then I feel guilty because I don't have to leave my house, if that makes sense. Like I miss the stress of having to leave my house, but I don't have to, and I'm still doing all my work. It's really weird. But yeah, people that I haven't talked to in a long time are reaching out, which is interesting because I think we had a good interview, a good conversation, but not enough to be like buddies. But now they're reaching out to see how I'm doing, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
I love it. I haven't left. I love it. It doesn't bother me at all.
I've been doing online school the last 2 weeks, which is really fun because I'm a senior in high school, so I've been.
This guy.
I mean, it's just a different perspective, but it's like
he's
it's
18,
weird.
YouTube. He's 18. He's good.
Yes, it's weird having to wake up and instead of driving to school, I'm just opening my laptop and there's my class, and now we're learning about government. We're learning about the Supreme Court, and I'm just sitting in my bed eating a bagel, and it's just like, what is happening? So it's weird, but it's also like
you live at home.
I do, yeah.
That's great. Stay at home as long as you can.
There was a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I think it was a Gonzaga class. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was like a 3x3, and the professor's in the top left talking, and midway through it's like a 2-minute video. the guy in the bottom right stands up and he's butt naked. He has no idea. And the teacher's like, I just, hope everyone put some clothes on. Everyone's like, Chip, your camera's on. And he just and he doesn't hear it. He walks right up to the camera. And I think he would, definitely worth a look.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love that shit. I love it.
That's a game changer now because it's almost like it's opened Pandora's box where all these things have moved online. So now it's like if you go back to your job or whatever, they should still let you work some points from home. There's benefits from it now. You can, if your job can be done at home, it seems like you should be able to do it because it relieves stress, and also school, a lot of degrees were only, you had to be on campus for a certain type of degree and you had to get the online degree if you didn't want to come. But this is just showing that we're capable of doing things from home, at a greater level.
And it makes me sad.
Do you guys think comedy will be able to be showcased virtually online, or do you think an audience?
No.
It's people are doing it. Has anybody done an online mic?
Yeah.
The Laugh Factory right now are doing online performances every day at 2:00.
I've been watching
it. So
it.
boring, dude.
What the problem with that is, what is very brutal on that is every troll in the world is all at home in front of the computer right now. So the comments are fucking brutal as
Which
shit.
is not okay.
Ferocious, dude.
Yeah, comedy. You need a crowd for comedy.
Yeah.
I was talking to Alonzo Bolden after he did his set yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I don't read any of that shit anyway. Fuck. But Jay Moore the day before was going back and forth with the comments while he was performing, which was hilarious. Telling,
that's funny.
It's just fucking awful.
But it goes against,
you need a crowd.
Yeah,
you do need
I was
something.
going to say that because what we were saying earlier is a lot of our mistakes or our lessons have been in having a conversation with the crowd, being present, and then changing our sets or changing with what the audience is giving us. And other than, unless you're reading comments, which I don't know, might be pretty distracting. I feel like it's not.
Jackie, someone brought up a very good point to me yesterday, was that even though if we get back to normal in say a month, okay, that's just a fucking figure I'm throwing out there, maybe 2 months or maybe 2 weeks or maybe a month, right? What makes everybody think that people are going to have money to come watch comedy straight away?
I know.
And how
That's
long is
the
it going to
fucking
take for
problem
people
right
to be comfortable
What's
to
it
come
gonna
back
take?
out?
Yeah.
I think
Exactly
so.
right,
I think people
Ethan.
will be very
What's it gonna
hungry.
take, mate?
I think people will be ready. I think comedy is actually pretty inexpensive when you think about a night out, and I think the value you get when you see 8 comics at the night out, a couple drinks, and I think everyone's cooped up in their apartments. I think people. Hang on, Dan, let me just.
I think you're
Danny,
right, Sean.
Let me just finish.
Right.
Let me get the whole sentence out. That's kind of how I'd like to function. But no, I think there's going to be a pent up demand and desire because they're not getting these visceral in-person experiences. So I think people will prioritize going to concerts once people can go outside and be in groups of more than 25 or 50. I think comedy is a small enough audience because it's comedy shows aren't big audiences. Usually it's 25 to maybe 100-ish people, whereas big concerts are much bigger. I just think comedy will be one of those first avenues due to the crowd sides that is highly desirable once we're able to leave our houses.
Because they say in the
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I think the big people are going to have problems right here are the places like the Improv, the Store, or the Laugh Factory, because those crowds are based at 50% on tourists, and tourists aren't coming back here anytime soon. Even if we do get everything going, it's going to be fucking months before travel gets put through properly, and that's going to be the fucking issue, is getting the big clubs full again. I think you're going to see a lot of free shows.
They're going to have to lower the prices. They're going to have to lower.
There's going to be a lot of free shows, I reckon.
Yeah, and cheaper drinks and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And,
free shows.
Happening.
Yeah,
Free shows, one drink minimum.
No,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. They won't do that.
You don't think
But
so?
just to
No
say
way.
what, just to
They make a lot of money on booze. They can cut back.
just to hit off what Jessica said. So I have done these virtual open mics. I feel like they just feel more like a writing session. It's just a medium for you to kind of hash out your jokes. But you can't even hear real laughter through Zoom because the audio is cutting in and out from people.
right.
And honestly, back to earlier when I was asking you your best and worst moment, Daniel talked about, us running into each other on a couple of shows. My best moment on a show was because of the audience. I got my biggest laugh when I was interacting with a group that was center stage at the dojo with Daniel's friends, and Ethan hosted.
I worked there,
and
that's where I met you, Ethan.
And I would have never got that laugh had there not been an audience to interact with. I mean, you just can't get that online at all. So,
you feed off the laughter.
Yeah, well, you do, and it's a conversation, and you have to listen to it, and you should be able to interact with it if you want to, or at least, like you said, feed off of it. You were talking about having 3 different sets. I love that. Like, have 3 different sets, but you have to be able to hear that audience to really feel it out and know what to deliver out of those sets.
Right.
Well, just like my sex life, I need people clapping and laughing at me.
There you go.
You just sort of clap.
Well, I think if without the laughter, it's like trying to swim without the water. It doesn't work. You have to have the laughter. Just the way it is.
Well, swimming without the water is running, right?
Well, yeah, but it's still not swimming. Still not swimming. You need the laughter. You have to play off the crowd. You have to play off the look, the eyebrow, the look over, the grabbing of the wall. There's so much that goes into what you do.
Yeah, again, my sex life.
I was just saying that, like, I totally agree with you. I think that actually this quarantine is going to burst, like, it's going to have to get a little bit more innovative because there is going to be a delay back into the house. I mean, going back into the clubs. And I think this is an opportunity for lesser known comedians to figure out how to get more comedy out there. And I don't know, maybe someone will come up with a virtual way of, like, you being in someone's home, and I don't know, and being able to hear the sound. I mean, this is like futuristic, but outside of that, you're gonna have to create more types of forms of comedy.
Yep.
In the meantime,
I've actually done a show like that with the virtual reality where you tune in and you put the headset on and they can see you at the club. I've done a show like that. That's pretty cool, actually. Well, we had a crowd, but people at home, if you had that device, you put it on and then you could see you into the comics that were there. I did it at the Ha-Ha's, and I mean we still had a live crowd though. That's the key. You have to have people in front of you so you can make them laugh.
Yeah.
I think we'll be seeing a lot more outdoor comedy this summer.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be like sitting
maybe.
each other. Yeah, I think
with Sean in Venice Beach.
You're gonna. We're going back. We're coming. But it will. I don't know. I do agree with you that I do think people will. You're right on Sunset. We're going to have a bit of an issue because it is all tourism. There's a lot of tourism, but we're not going to get that back this summer. That's for sure. So, but
on that note, guys, I do want to kind of bring this to an end. We've been up here for 2 hours, and I really appreciate it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it goes by fast.
Again.
Past bedtime. Joking.
But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for being here. This will be, on YouTube, so feel free to take a look at it, go back through it if you want. This is the first one. I plan on. It's Play-Doh right now, so I'm gonna sit here and do what we do best as comics, is kind of go back and break it all down and see what I can do to move it faster if it needs to be, or restructure it, add structure, and I'll be reaching out to each of you. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I really do.
Thanks for having
us, Chris.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
A lot of fun.
It was so nice
meeting everybody.
See you guys soon.
I'm going to follow everybody on Instagram and see how your life is going.
I'm just going to follow everybody in person.
And
I'm going to follow you in person.
I'm going to post nudes.
Sean, I want to know how to get the backdrop.
Does that mean I get 4 new followers? Oh, wow.
I need them for my music videos.
Well, you can do it. Yeah. You guys talk offline.
I Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome, guys. Love you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to exit.
Jessica, I sent you my number. Text me and I'll
I
show you how to
love
do
you.
it.
I love this whole thing. It's amazing.
Technology's amazing.
It is. It's just
Bye, guys.
Bye, Jackie.
Bye.
Bye.
All righty. Bye, lovers.
Okay, shit, your number just disappeared. God damn it. Get me out of here.